like to welcome today Venae Watts, who's a fifth generation butter maker from Minerva, Ohio. Venae, welcome to Dairy Business Update.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your family's long career in the butter business.
Well, it is a long one. I am a fifth generation butter maker. So we have been making butter since 1894 with my great, I think all the greats. Grandpa Max started bringing our family together from local family farms. Our family had lots of dairy farms, and we all made butter and cheese on each location of the farm. And he brought us together to one location to make the butter and cheese and sell it out of that location. Hence, those locations grew to almost 30 different locations through Wisconsin and Ohio at one time. Because of logistics, it wasn't feasible to bring all the milk into one location or a couple locations. We could only travel so far. So we had many family farms that would pull from just regional farms to make the butter and cheese in one location. Regional meaning very small area, like just 25, 30 miles, 50 miles apart. Now, today, we have one location in Minerva, Ohio, where we make our butter and cheese and can pull from local family farms. So over the generations, we have increased our craft in butter and cheese making, and that's where we have our niche, and we leave the dairy farming to the generational dairy farmers.
Well, your company is in Northeast Ohio, which is a well-known milk shed. Tell us a little bit about who you purchase your milk from, individual patrons, or maybe a co-op or some combination. Talk a little bit about your sourcing of milk.
Okay, we source our milk from individual patrons or dairy farmers in the Northeast region of Ohio. They're all family farms. A lot of them are generational family farms. So we've sourced our milk from them for 1, 2, 3 generations back. We work with 75 family farms in this area in the Northeast Ohio region. We bring in about 12 loads on average a day of milk. If that gives you some idea of how much that we bring in.
Sure. Well, we knew that we expected you probably weren't Land O'Lakes, but we knew you were more than an artisan maker too. Although the quality of your product, I think, rivals that.
We are kind of in the middle with our production. We're kind of that mid-size. We're not large. We're not a big guy. And we're not just a small, I would say, on the farm producer either. So we kind of fell in that middle ground of the creamery facility. So it kind of gets us in a weird little, but neat little niche, makes us unique to who we are.
Tell us a little bit about where you sell your butter and kind of what geography and what sort of customers do you have?
We have customers all over the nation. So we sell nationwide in different areas. Some on the East and West Coast, you might find us in the more high-end grocery stores. Regionally around here, you can find us almost anywhere. Great places are 2-pound roll butter is a lot for farmer markets or smaller independent-owned stores. And then we have our 8-ounce butter, which comes in 2 4-ounce sticks in a carton, which you can find those, in their larger grocery store retail chains.
And you must work with some distributors to reach both coasts in those high-end markets, or are you able to sell directly?
We have a combination of both. We have some direct to chain sales, and we have a lot of distributors. The distributors is a great partner to reach those smaller chains and the niche markets where our product belongs.
Sure. Well, it is a great product too. I'm delighted that your crew was able to send me some samples, which I tried just this morning. And tell us a little bit about your product line and some of the flavors and products that you manufacture and sell.
We manufacture an 85% butterfat butter, which is interesting because most of the butter on the market is, around 80%. That's your standard butter. And then you can have your Europeans or some imports that'll call out a higher percent. And then ours is at 85%. So we find that we have a unique type of butter that's produced. Our craft style of our butter in the churn produces a thicker, richer, creamier butter with a higher butter fat. So we have a great consumer, the one that is looking to get the better ingredient for what they're making in their home. They're looking for who makes it, some transparency, and they're just conscious of the products that they pick up when they're shopping. And that would be the consumer that, is interested in looking to pick up Minerva Dairy butter. And we offer that in our flagship 2-pound roll. That started years ago, and that's we had bulk butter that we would roll up, and we just started with the 2-pound. It was an easier roll to transport, and so that's kind of our flagship item that we've had everywhere. And then we've lately, in the last 5 years, started doing it in the 8-ounce carton, which has 2 4-ounce sticks that you can pick up. So it's for ease of measurement. If someone's like, I really want that stick because I know how much I have for my baking or cooking purposes. And then we have the 2-pound roll butter for your home chefs that like, I'm just going to scrape off what I want and smack it in the pan because I'm eyeballing everything. So we have both for each home chef which they prefer for what they're doing.
Speaking of home chefs, it seems like in recent years, butter has had a real resurgence everywhere from fine dining to home kitchens. And happily, milk fat is no longer the villain that it was once so inaccurately portrayed. If this is the case, has this affected your product line or your sales or your strategies?
It has really affected Minerva Dairy butter. And it's something that we wouldn't have this reach and interest that we do currently with our butter if this was 20 or 30 years ago. It was, margin was king for a long time. People were looking to have that in their home, and we still continue to make our butter. We had the home chefs or people that wanted real butter, but it wasn't in the media or the attention that is now getting. Butter definitely is back, and that's helped us a lot. We rebranded about 5 years ago. We started the rebranding process for that reason. I was reading and we're looking at trends with consumers, and the consumer was looking to find that product in butter. They were looking for depths of knowledge of the products that they're picking up. And I was reading what consumers are looking for, and I'm like, hey, that's what we're doing here in Northeast Ohio. That's what Minerva Dairy is doing. We need to get the word out there that we're doing what everyone is trying to search out and find. So that started our initiative of creating the rebranding. We did a retro quilt pattern on our products to try and let you know that, hey, we've always been here. The bright colors of quilting has been around on the farm for forever, as anyone can remember. So we've always been here, but we also have what you're looking for right now, which is simple ingredients. You know who's making your butter. You know what they're doing. It's just, we have our sea salts and cream, and that's all we've got. Nothing fancy. And that's where our rebranding is. So it's definitely been our greatest effort. It's just awareness, just getting our name out there and letting people know that we are a choice on your butter shelf, and when you're in the market or in your home.
We've seen on your website, and happily I received some samples of the sea salt product and also the garlic herb butter, which was delicious this morning. But you have some other flavors too. Are they more recent, or tell us a little bit about the other flavors that you produce?
Well, we have the sea salt, and then we have an unsalted that we produce. Mm-hmm. And then the garlic herb is our year-round flavor infused butter. We carry that one all the time. Then we have some other flavors. I love experimenting with flavors to try different ones. So some unique ones we've had is a smoked butter. We do a smoked butter in a smokehouse with a cold smoke, which is, had to learn what the right temperature was, not to melt it all over the smokehouse, and to have the right flavor of wood chips that come out to complement the butter. And that was a great culinary butter that we do seasonally. And it is available on the website. Will be coming up for the holiday time, but it's not right now. We also have done maple syrup butter. We've done a pumpkin spice butter. Both of those were done for different retail store chains that were looking to bring something in for, pumpkin season, as we now kind of have, and for the holiday season for maple syrup butter.
Sure. And you probably source the maple syrup in Northeast Ohio too.
There's plenty of it. It's good. Yes. Right.
I'll bet that's delicious. On maybe not quite such a positive note, but I think we have to talk about it. We've seen so much hype over plant-based substitutes for dairy and meat. As you are looking ahead, how are you going to market? What's your view of that stuff?
That is an up and coming disruptor in a lot of categories, is moving away from the traditional farm products and into a new plant-based I do think there's room for a lot of different selections as the consumer is really out there looking to find niche products. As I learned, as they pick up different things for different applications. But I think there's a lot of education that also needs to be done with that. They all have their place in the kitchen. You can use them for different ways. But we had margarine come through, and that we learned everyone was all on that train, and we learned that that was not a good selection to have for our bodies. So I urge everyone to read. When you're getting a plant-based product, to make sure you read and say, can I pronounce all the words on this ingredient statement? Because if you can't, maybe you need to go a little simpler. If you're looking for health and simple, read your ingredient statement, learn who's making your product and how they're making it, and then decide for yourself if this is the right choice we have. So I think education is a lot behind what products you pick up on the shelf is very important. And to learn, like, why am I buying this? Is it because the marketing person told me to, or is it because this is really what I need for my diet and my cooking in my home?
How many employees do you have, and how many of your family members are part of the company team?
We have about 80 employees.
Yep.
And I have myself, my brother, my husband, and then we have the 6th generation kids. We don't have any of them that are quite old enough to join in a full time, but when they're in high school, they work.
Sure.
So they learn from the ground up, and then they can go off to the world and pursue their own, or they can come back and join the family business. So we're yet to see who in the 6th generation is coming back.
Okay. Well, we hope that you are able to continue that family tradition. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Recently, you did a segment, if you will, on Good Morning America TV show, talking about the digital and online tours that you're offering school children and others of the factory. Just give us a little flavor of how that started, how it went, and as part of our publicity for this episode, we'll be including the link. So just give us a preview of what we'll see on that segment.
So what you'll see on that segment is I'm teaching the kids about making butter, and a little bit about just me and the creamery and our family. You'll see my youngest on there. She's at the time she was in 2nd grade, and she's 8 years old. She just started 3rd. But we went down, and when we were home, and I was teaching the homeschool because of COVID. And we try to say, like, what can we do? Everyone's in the situation, they're at home. Everyone's kind of not getting out of the house or not learning by seeing and doing it. When you're a kid, and even as an adult, sometimes when you get to see things and experience things, you retain that information better. And something that we know and do is production of food. So the butter. So we reached out to her class if they'd like to do that. And then we're just kind of spread. And next thing you know, I was doing a Zoom call with a team that was in Missouri, with little kids that were homeschooling, but we could connect everyone for technology. It really helped out. So you'll see, what I would show the students and a little bit about just what we do here on the creamery for butter production and how we would connect for Zoom and what our life looks like. So did that answer your question?
You sure did. And as I mentioned, we've got a link posted as part of the information about this episode of Dairy Business Update.
Well, I hope you can watch the link, and I hope everyone learns when you go to the grocery store to pick up your food, not only for butter, but for everything you pick up, there's a whole team behind it.
Exactly. And we appreciate you telling us about your company and about your product. I think all of us in dairy really appreciate good butter, and boy, you folks certainly make it.
Thank you very much.
We've been speaking with Venae Watts of Minerva Dairy in Minerva, Ohio. Venae, thank you very much for being with us on Dairy Business Update.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
This is Joel Hastings for Dairy Business Update at dairybusiness.com.